Hello, good morning, guys. Actually, let me redo that. Hey, good morning, guys. Okay. What did I just do, and which one do you think sounded a little friendlier? The very first one I did, or the second one? Because today we are continuing our exploration of body gestures, body language that we can use to enhance our communication skills and become more effective at speaking with others in any language. Although a lot of the things we're going to be talking about are going to be things that are particular to American culture, but maybe you can think of ways to apply it to your own. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show, which is Wake Up American. We're here Monday through Friday, typically around the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. New York, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for today. Because, hey, that's what it takes. If you're serious about pronunciation, trying to make some adjustments to the way that you talk, I'm here to help you. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. It's one of the four keys to a natural sound, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonants in order to strengthen your vowels. We're going to be again talking about body language. For those of you who are listening, I'm going to try to describe everything in rich detail so that way you can also apply it to wherever you're listening to this at. Um, that very first thing we talked about. So this is going to be particularly helpful for those of us who are on conference calls, webinars, Zoom meetings, and things like that. When you First of all, if you turn on your webcam, I know not all places have that culture where they turn on webcams, but if you do, and I strongly encourage you to, because it's a big power move to turn on your camera. Um, I encourage you to, when you do that first interaction with people, because those first impressions are so key, take a moment to don't just like kind of sit back, but actually, when you need to introduce yourself, say hello, just kind of like lean in slightly and say, like, hey, how's it going? Versus kind of staying back and saying, hey, how's it going? Just that little movement of just moving yourself closer to the screen or to your camera can give a sense of warmth and greater intimacy and connection with the person you're talking to. So that's kind of the first little thing I would encourage you to do if your goal is to seem a little warmer, a little friendlier in English. Just kind of just like lean in a little bit, and then you can go back and lean back slightly because it's just a quick little adjustment you can make right there. What are some other things that we can do to come off as friendlier, warmer? Um, in English, a little bit more personable. Let's talk a little bit about our hands and pointing. Pointing like this, what you can see. So I'm just raising my index finger. I'm putting the rest of my fingers around my thumb, and I'm just pointing in different directions. This can be very aggressive, especially if you point at people. So instead of pointing at people, I don't want to point at you. What I want to do is I'm going to take my thumb and put your thumb in between your index finger and your middle finger. Okay, so take your thumb, put it in between your index finger and your middle finger, right around that, right around your first or second knuckle, right around there. And you can use that as a point. Okay, so you can see if you're watching, you can see it. You can see my thumb sticking out, and I can use that to point. And this is a less aggressive way of pointing instead of using your entire index finger, pointing more with your thumb in between those fingers there. Way less aggressive. This can be helpful. I see it a lot, for instance, when I was working with teachers, because I used to be a director at a language center. This would be one thing that we would talk about because I had some teachers that would love to point at students, and that can be, again, a very aggressive movement. This is a way that can immediately soften that. The next thing I want to do, if you want to talk with someone and you want to show that you are really listening to them intently, what we want to do is we want to nod our heads, so just going up and down with our head, but don't do it too fast. You don't want to look like a bobblehead toy or anything like that. What I'd like you, or what I would encourage you to do, would be to try to do about three slow nods, just three slow nods. Okay. So about that in that length of time right there where I paused, I did about three nods. This is a super helpful technique also for getting people to talk a little bit more. Research has suggested that when people do that nod, that kind of slow, controlled nod right around three times, the person you're talking to ends up speaking about 20% more. Okay. You can even add in words like mm-hmm, mm-hmm, or yeah, and things like that, just to again let the other person know that you're talking to them. So again, you don't have to do it like 10 times or 20 times, but one or two is probably not enough either. So that's why three can be a helpful number in that regard. Another thing I would like to talk to you about is with regards to your hand. If the difference between like saying something like with your fist, like here is me, I have a fist next to my face, and I'm just kind of shaking it like 3 or 4 times as I'm talking. Okay. That again can convey a little bit of firmness and things like that. So if I want things to come off as softer just by using my hands, instead of like using a fist or movements like that, what I can do is I can use open palm. Okay, so we say open palm because you can see your palm. So basically just open up your hand. Just open up your hand, just extend it. So imagine like you're stretching all your fingers and things like that a little bit. This is open palm. So visually, I'm gonna just kind of shake my fist for people who can watch. Okay, so let's just compare like this movement a little bit versus this movement a little bit. Can you get that kind of just that sense that energy difference is pretty significant if I'm just like doing this versus this. Okay, so like imagine you had a point to say like today we really need to try a little bit harder. Today we really need to try a little bit harder. Versus today we really need to try a little bit harder. Today we really need to try a little bit harder. As I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep my voice about the same for both, but as you do these sorts of exercises, changing different hand positions, don't be surprised if you find that your voice also starts changing a little bit because our bodies are connected to our voice. What our body does changes the way that we talk. So by using different gestures and things, that can also immediately change, like the pitches we're using or the speed we use to talk and things like that. So definitely be cognizant of that. Be aware that that can certainly happen. If you're finding all of these suggestions about body position and gestures and things helpful, but you're like, I need to apply it to my speech, but I have trouble doing that. I do want to just spend a moment to say, hey, we're doing a workshop entirely dedicated to body language and speech. It's going to be on March 12th from 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. New York, and we're limited to about 5 people. If you're interested in this, I'm going to be posting links to join. This will be in the video description and also in the comments. We would love to see you there. It'll also be recorded too, so if you're not able to make the original time, keep an eye out for that recording as well. But hey, thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you have a particular comment about body language, I'd love to see it. If you have a particular sound that you would like to see in any of the streams next week, be sure to let me know. If you're like, Jeff, I came for some pronunciation practice today, not some body stuff, help me out here. I do want to just give a quick shout out to Elsa as well. Elsa can give you a free pronunciation test that you can take right now or over the weekend to let you know what sounds you need to study. So, hey, if you take that free pronunciation test, let me know what sounds Elsa identified for you in the comments. And then next week we can target them. I'll give you some exercises to work on them. Okay, so thanks also to Elsa for helping make these streams possible. I will see you guys later. I hope you guys have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon. Take care.